reel up my slack, and then kind of shake, 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 shake 4 or 5 times. Oh. Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TRF. I apologize for the crazy bad lighting. By the way, Taylor, get your booty on in here. We are up here in Minnesota today, and we're gonna be teaching you guys hopefully a little bit about grass fishing. If you've got grass in your pond, in your lake, we're gonna catch the bass and teach you guys how to do it for yourself. So let's catch our first fish. I've got one too. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nothing like the old double header to start. Okay, so first tip I have for you guys, find bait fish. I don't care what type of body of water you're in, pond, lake, river, stream, the bass have got to eat something. And so in this body of water, I just saw a big old school of bluegill. No, not on forward facing sonar. I actually saw them with my eyes. They were up kind of in the top of the water column, and they were eating whatever it was off the surface. We decided, you know what, this is probably a good area to fish. It's got a whole bunch of bluegill around. Taylor caught one on the Thunder Cricket, and I caught one on the jig. So tip 1, find some dang bait fish. And just to prove, there are some bluegill right there on forward facing. A bass is right in between the bluegill, so maybe I can actually flip my jig right out there in the bluegill. Can we have a storybook ending here? Don't think so. Oh, there we go. Taylor's got one. And if your buddy's throwing a reaction bait like he is, if you cast back in a slower moving lure like I am with the jig, there's one. Oh, we had it. Let me flip back over there. There he is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No big ones yet. No, oh, did we do a double up? Uh-oh. How big is Taylor's? How big is Taylor's? It's a nice one. Oh, we gotta get a little double up picture here. Look at this. I'm gonna get him, we're gonna slip him. Oh,
we're gonna swing him.
MLF style, grab the fish.
Protect that.
Oh, what a chunker. His could almost eat mine. Bring it over here, T-Money. See, this is why we come to Minnesota, because you can go to one lake that's not good, as we did earlier, and then go to a second lake. It also wasn't good. Hop to a third lake, and we got ourselves. Can you hold your fish up here?
Oh, I'm struggling.
There you go. Gosh dang double header. Let's go. Apologize for the bad lighting, folks. When you have no clouds, this is what happens. After this next fish catch, we'll hit y'all with the next tip. The bluegill have literally come on the surface, as I was talking about. There are so many bait fish around here. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. What a chunker. What a chunker. Gosh. What a chunker. Get your booty in here, buddy. Oh, braid to fluoro. Ain't messing around. Oh, we ain't messing around. And that one right there is going on the board for my Fishing Chaos tournament, y'all. I'll teach you a little bit about this jig and how I'm working it after I show you guys just the chunk nastiness of that fish. Oh my gosh. All right, so now that we've caught a few fish, I want to show you guys what my favorite jig is for fishing around aquatic vegetation. Now, the weight that I fish definitely matters when it comes to how deep you are. And so I'm going to talk a lot about that, but just first things first, you want a vertical line tie on your jig when you're working in and out of grass. You might not think, I'll show on the B-roll on the screen here, that vertical versus horizontal actually matters. And I don't have like a scientific test to say that it does, but anecdotally, every time I've ever fished around aquatic vegetation, whether it is milfoil or coontail or hydrilla or cattails and lily pads, that kind of submergent and emergent vegetation, whatever you're fishing, you want a vertical line tie on your jig. Now, the jig material is tungsten. You kind of hear the click there. Do you need tungsten? You don't, but having tungsten does allow that jig to slide in and out of that grass easier because it is a more slender package. I don't really think you need a full-size bluegill imitation. Let's say the bluegills your bass are targeting are 5 to 6 inches. You don't need, I think missile baits make the Ike jig that's ginormous.
Yeah, Mach.
Yeah, the Mach jig or whatever it is. You don't need a jig that actually fully matches the size of the bluegill. As long as it matches the color and kind of profile, you're good to go. And I've talked about this in many jig and many craw and many soft plastic videos that I've made here on the channel. But most of the time, even with a craw trailer on your jig, you are not imitating craws, you're imitating bluegill. And so I take a Mach craw here on the back of my Outcast Tackle Stealth Fighter jig. I check to see where it lines up there. Actually, I'm gonna bite off just a teeny bit of it to make the jig or the craw match the profile of the jig more. Don't want to cut off too much of your trailer because you don't want the skirt getting in the way of the claws. But I want to push that on there, if I was not in a rush to go catch some more fish, I would super glue the trailer on. But I'm in the process of making a jig for Outcast, the TRF signature jig. You'll see it here maybe coming up next year, that you won't even have to super glue your trailers on, because we're doing something special with that jig that I'm really excited about. But that right there is a perfect presentation. But I want to talk real quick about the actual size. I'm throwing a 5/8 ounce jig. That is usually the heaviest jig I'll throw until I get into like the football jig category, which I'm not usually throwing around aquatic vegetation. And I'm fishing in, how deep is this? 8 foot is the top of the grass, and the bottom is in 12 to 15. That's why I'm going with a heavier jig, because I want to be more efficient down there on the bottom. If I'm fishing in grass, like you'll see here on the screen that I fished this morning, I want to fish a 1/2 ounce jig in that 5 to 10 foot depth zone. And then if you're fishing a jig around grass edges, or flipping it in the holes of grass, or on the edge of lily pads, cattails, in like really shallow water, you might want to fish a 3/8 ounce jig, maybe a 1/2 ounce at the most. It may seem like I'm splitting hairs here, but I promise you the weight of jig that you choose actually matters. So I know some of you guys out there only have one jig. If that's the case, get a 3/8 ounce and fish it even slower than you think you should if you're going to go in deep water. That way it'll also work in shallow water. So we got some more tips for you guys about retrieval, but I want to catch another one. Ooh, come on, baby, come on. No big ones. I mean, actually we have caught some nice ones, but just the quality of these fish is bananas. Look at that. Tub with a capital U. Oh, pulled off. You know what, with how many bass are probably out there, Taylor, y'all, off camera, Taylor's caught like 5. I'm gonna get a crankbait. Okie dokie, crankbait, let's see. Okay, I don't think these fish want it. I only gave it 3 casts, but I'm not feeling confident. Oh, hello. Yes, sir. What do we got? Not a, oh goodness. Got off. Got off, get right back in there. The skoo fired up.
I left the scoos alone. I saved my best scoos, guys. I didn't even go to them. I said, I'm gonna save my best scoos.
Oh, broke me off. Where did it break at? That's always the question. All right, it broke at the knot or somewhere above. Clean break, got piked. Oh. Ooh, hold up. That's got a different feel to it. That one's got a little different feel to the hook set. Where are you, buddy? Oh, yeah. Yeah, nice one. Nice one. Come on now. Get this bad boy in and we'll teach you guys to retrieve. Yes, sir. Oh my gosh. When they're so big, they can't even shake. They just... Stealth fighter jig down the face hole. Just look at that fish. Just look at it. And I'm asking you to look at it.
I mean, just get a look at that.
Oh, and he's got some line coming out of his bunghole. Gonna let that guy pass it himself. Oh, wait, tournament fish. And I'm competing now in the northern region for the next 2 months, so I don't have to get as many inches. Because in that Florida, Texas region, you gotta win with like 120 inches. That's unreasonable. Dunk the board. Care about this guy's genetics here. Not huge, 16.5. Come on, lay your toe. Oh, what a beautiful fish. Thank you, my friend. See ya. Let's talk about my retrieve. So the number one thing I'll say about fishing a jig for bluegill imitating bass is that I'm rarely just dragging it or slowly hopping it like Texas rig. A bluegill is kind of an erratic bait fish, and so I like to reel up my slack and then kind of shake 4 or 5 times. Oh. Yes, sir. I promise that was not set up. That was my first time I shook that. Oh my goodness, what a big one. What a big one. Holy cow. We'll teach you guys more here in a second. Wow. Wow. I'm gonna get down and lift that one. Oh. Come on, come on. Oh. Yes, sir. Outcast tackle, stealth fighter jig inside the face hole. And I was just shaking it down there. Again, it kind of looks like underneath the water. Hop, 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 hop. It's like a bluegill kind of nosing down on the bottom, and the bass just can't resist it. Dang, what a good one. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by a nice chunky bass, is that I want to let my jig, really with any soft plastic or jig, unless it's a swim jig or a swim bait, I want to let it sink all the way to the bottom. I've done so, and then I reel in my slack, kind of shake it, and I'm talking like, look at my rod tip. It is probably maybe a foot, little twitches that I'm making, 6-inch to, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Holy cow. All right, can you shake off, please? See, this is why I come to Minnesota. I'm trying to show them my retrieve, friendo. And this is not a private lake. I wish I could say it was. This is public, which is crazy. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Cast it out there, edge of the grass. Let it sink all the way to the bottom. This jig falls about a foot every 3/4 of a second. So we are all the way down to the bottom. Immediately reel in my slack, and I kind of keep my rod tip at like, what, 2 o'clock position, and just kind of shake. Let it sink down to the bottom. Again, I'm not bringing it off the bottom much, maybe a foot max, so it falls pretty fast. Reel in the slack, shake, 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 shake. Let it sink, reel in the slack. And maybe depending on water temperature and how active the fish are is how fast you're shaking it and how much time you're giving in between shakes. But if you do that along the whole entire strike zone, so sometimes it's parallel to a grass line, or sometimes it's just flipping into a hole in the grass, shaking a few times and bringing it back out, I found that to be the best way to catch bass that are eating bluegill. Not to say you can't just lift it and let it fall and you can't just drag it, but shaking it like that, I think best as far as a jig goes, imitates some kind of fleeing bluegill. Man, pretty clear wherever the bait is, that's where the bass are going to be. Yeah, that's him.
Oh,
yeah. There we go. Nice one, buddy. Get your butt in here. Look at that quality. Oh. Oh. Oh, no. Oh. Pike. My line went zzz. Nothing. Now, I feel like this goes without saying, but maybe one of you will try this. This kind of technique, especially with a heavier jig, does not work around snot grass, or as we say here on the channel, the stuff that's snot grass. So you have to have actual healthy vegetation, which you see on the screen here, here, and here. I'm not talking about this stuff. The kind of grass especially you're looking for this technique is vertical stalks. So I know cabbage has that. I'm not exactly sure the scientific name of the cabbage grass, but here in Minnesota they call it cabbage, and milfoil. It works as well around coontail and hydrilla, but especially cabbage and milfoil. This kind of like jig shaking, flipping around the boat works extra well. Can it work in your ponds with American pondweed? Absolutely, but it's really good around the super deep aquatic vegetations. Oh, I had one. Shake, shake, shake. There he is. Oh yeah. Sometimes when you get a bite, you go down and set the hook and they drop it, you can keep shaking it. And that works for Texas frags and worms, but especially with this technique. Get yourself, who am I? A nice, chunky Minnesota bass. Thank you, friendo. I apologize y'all for the harsh lighting. I'm sure Taylor will do his best to color grade it, but it's just, it's about the worst conditions you can ask for. And some of y'all are probably like, Tyler, we don't care about the film. Just teach us something. I do, okay? I'm a snob about my videography. I want my videos to look awesome. And I just know today's hasn't looked awesome, but hopefully you've either gained confidence in the jig, or maybe you want to go out there and hop around a jig for some bass in your body of water for the very first time, which I hope that's the case for some of you. Oh, pike.
Dang.
That is 3 jigs. This video so far has cost me $18. No, a new jig, $24. Please subscribe. Sometimes switching colors, especially on an area that you've already caught a decent amount of fish on, they've kind of stopped biting, switching colors can actually help. Now, occasionally, there's nothing you can do. You've just already fished out that spot. But I think there's a decent amount of bass here, and so maybe a kind of a brownish orange with some white in it will be the change we need to get a big one to bite. And a new trailer color. Very odd combination of orange and chartreuse. Oh my, another jig.
Oh, wow.
Holy cow. Pike, I have some very strong words I'd like to use. No, I'm just kidding. Pike are beautiful, and they are God's creation as well. Equal in God's eyes, not in mine. I should probably get out of this area. Not fish right here, fish somewhere else. Pretty sure precedent has been set. There's pike here. Oh, he was still there. Let it drop. Let it drop. Hey, my hooks. Oh, Taylor got it instead of me.
He's little.
Oh, a little guy, okay. Taylor's doing a little bit of cleanup with the drop shot. I'll have my drop shot set up down below, as usual. You're gonna see a lot of drop shot. There it is, a lot of drop shot. On this channel, in the future, forever, because it just catches fish. But I don't want to pick it up, because that's not as fun. More fun, slacklining them. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Hope y'all enjoyed this, honestly, relatively simple video to make. I just wanted to go out there, have a good time. It's our first day of a 7-day trip here to Minnesota. Caught us some fish, had a good time. If you want to check out all the tackle that I was using, as always, it's linked down in the video description. Those links are affiliate links, so if you could shop Tackle Warehouse using those links, that would be much appreciated. I will have my jig masterclass, because in this video today, kind of an informal, just fish catching video, there was a whole lot of stuff I couldn't talk about in detail, but I do in my jig masterclass. It'll be up here in this corner, so click on it right there. As always, it is a total pleasure. My name's Tyler, and we'll see you guys next time right here on TRF.